Welcome back to Voices and Views. I'm Mr. Douglas, and I'm talking to Chad Coleman, who plays the gruff Tyrese in the AMC hit show The Walking Dead, which airs on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock, currently in its fourth season.
Congrats on being part of such a tremendously popular show, man.
Oh man, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun.
Well, let's start
That
by
was great.
talking about how you got connected with this show initially.
Initially, Robert Kirkland was a fan of the HBO series The Wire. I was on that show playing Cuddy, and he saw my work on that show and decided always wanted me for the role of Tyrese. So I ended up contacting my people, and there was some interest from fans of the show too online. So it was a lot swirling around about myself and Tyrese, and so he went to AMC, and they were like, "Well, we have to see other people." He said, "Yeah, I know, but it's Chad Coleman. But it's Chad Coleman." So it worked out that way. So I was very fortunate that he was adamant about it.
How did that work for you? As far as did you go out and get the comic series and get a jump start on it, or did you just keep it with I'm gonna just stick with what the scripts are having? Or
Yeah, well, they didn't. I didn't know anything about it until it was time for me to go in to read for them. You know, that's when I found out, and then so everybody was like, we have the Bible, we know we have that, but this is something that we're gonna veer off of, and so you be familiar with what's going on, but just take this ride with us, and if we need to refer to the comic, we will, and so it kind of worked like that, but I got in there and got a clear arc of what Tyrese what storyline was all about, and who he was. So, and we all talked a lot about it. So we just kind of collaborated, and they filled in the blanks, and then we went from there. They liked what I was doing right off the bat.
so you didn't sneak a peek at the comics and go, this is sort of what happens to my character down the road potentially.
Oh yeah, I know. I definitely, I saw the whole deal, but at the same time, I just hope they aren't interested in ending his life that way. I hope.
Yeah.
You know.
How has being on this show changed your life as far as not just professionally but personally?
Well, a lot more people recognize me now. The fan base of The Walking Dead is, pretty passionate. So, I think more than anything else, you just got more people recognizing me. And, as far as my own personal profile, it's great to have been on The Wire, one of the most critically acclaimed shows. And now, The Walking Dead with all the numbers, the huge numbers, and breaking records in cable television. So that's awesome too.
Is it strange to be on a show that I guess it's so edgy and violent, yet it has such a massive following? Like oftentimes the edgier something is, it seems like the more limited it is as far as fan base. But this thing has as many fans as you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I don't know. I think it's just the fact that it's the horror genre, just appeals to on some level. The storytelling is amazing, and obviously the acting is everybody's doing great work. But there's an aspect of it that probably appeals to the child and all of us, and those of us who love to be scared, in the movies. And they find so many interesting ways of doing that. And so I think there's that aspect of it for sure, but it's just something on the plate for everybody You know, it's hard to describe, but it, you know, these kids they're not like freaked out by it. You know,
Right.
it's not. It's done in a way. I mean, it's definitely they go there, but you know, you get a kick out of it more so than being turned off by it. You know.
Now you've got young kids. Do you let what is your daughter 13?
Yeah,
Is she
yeah.
has
Well,
she
yeah,
watched
she's a
it or
huge fan. Yeah, she's a huge fan.
she?
Yeah, she loves it, man. She loves it. I just had her at New York Comic Con too, so she got a chance to meet everybody. So that was awesome for her and a friend of hers. But yeah, she loves it. She loves it. They all do, all her friends.
Well, it's cool for people to watch a show. We can disconnect from reality, really become consumed by this post-apocalyptic world, nasty zombies, broken society. But as an actor who's there to see you're obviously involved. You see the makeup and off-screen stuff. Are you able, when you watch it on TV, to enjoy it like the rest of us and get it wrapped up in the story, or are you just too attached for that?
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. Because you know most of it is CGI anyway, so we're not seeing. You know, we don't. The great work they do, you know, makes us go wow too. Because after they finish in post production, it's a whole different animal when it comes to the walkers and stuff. But oh yeah, I get into it, man. I get into it. It's a great story. It's just wonderful characters, great storytelling, and yeah, man, I get as locked up in it as anybody else.
Well, we as fans also get I don't know, we hate it when there's that 4 to 6 month lull between seasons, but you don't have that necessarily because you're always filming, you're always a part of it. Do you get that excitement when the new season starts like everybody else, where we haven't seen or heard anything about it for 6 months, or is it kind of going back to my first question? Are you too involved to have a break from it?
No, we eagerly anticipate getting back to it because we want to see how the audience is going to respond, and after we start shooting and getting so involved in it, we sometimes forget exactly what's going to happen too. So because we will have started so much earlier than when it premieres. So by that point, we're excited to be able to go back, and then you go back and you see all this stuff that relates to what you're doing in the present. It's a pretty trippy feeling. It's a great experience because we know what's coming, but also to be able to relive what we already did and get you guys' reaction to it is pretty cool.
Okay, so just joining us, we're talking to actor Chad Coleman, who plays Tyrese in the AMC zombie show The Walking Dead.
How much fun would you say you guys have on set with with all the zombies around you and between shoots?
Well, you know what, man? It depends on what's going on. A lot of times the scenes are very intense, so everybody's in there in that headspace cause, I mean, that's a part of the sell of the show. If you don't believe that we're in that situation, then that will bring a certain amount of cheesiness to it that we don't want to ever go for. So everybody's kind of pretty much dialed in. Just sometimes the physical exchanges we have with the zombies, can be a little funny. You drop your weapon, you miss the more you're supposed to hit, things like that, stumbling, falling, that's most of the funny stuff. Then we just laugh at each other. That's the funny part.
Is there a jokester on set?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say. I mean, everybody has a sense of humor, and I probably Greg Nicotero is probably the biggest, jokester, I would say. But we all, it's more subtle. It's more subtle. It's not, really overt stuff, because you never want to take somebody out of a moment. So everybody's very mindful and professional, and but we have fun. But it could be something benign or mundane that doesn't appear to be funny. It's just funny to us in that situation.
What would you say is the a story that stands out the most as far as camaraderie that you guys share and having to be, do the scenes at the prison and kind of be in close quarters like that?
The one that stands out more to me is when my group first came to the prison. And that introductory scene, just talking about the elements, man. I mean, it was basically a monsoon out there that we were shooting at. It was raining so hard I was forgetting my lines, and trees were falling like just, and we're like, we're still out here. So that was kind of the first one that kind of stuck with me. Like, wow, they mean business out here, man. I mean, we can hardly see and we still shooting. So okay, let's go.
Let's talk about your character a little bit. Tyrese is definitely at a crossroads right now, and it seems like he's going to become a larger part of the story with his girlfriend being burned to death in that last episode. How excited are you to really take this character to the next level?
I mean, it was what was promised from point A, and got some great folks like Andy Lincoln and, of course, the showrunner and the other writers who's excited to write for me. They're living up to everything that they promised. It's an amazing journey. It really is unbelievable. The way the audience will be able to get to know this character. So I'm really, 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 really excited.
Now, is it strange being part of a long-running show where it is accepted that a lot of the main characters will probably die at some point?
It's just interesting everybody, taking on it and just seeing how everybody deals with it. Everybody's got their own way of dealing with it. But I kind of experienced that a little bit when I was on The Wire when they killed off Stringer Bell. Just wrote it. Idris Elba played. He's kind of like the most popular guy on the show at that time, and they killed him. So I was like, well, if they can do that, all bets are off. Anybody can go. So I had a little bit of history with that. So when I came to this show, and I just promised myself, I will stay in the moment, enjoy it, and hopefully what I get to put down for the audience will be memorable, because The Wire hasn't been on in years. And I mean, I know it's in different other outlets and stuff, but the body of work was able to help me get this job. So I just hope to be able to do the type of work on this show that would, have other folks interested in hiring me.
Knowing what happens, and not everybody knows, but knowing what happens in the comic book to this character, and we also realize that they do take liberties and change things. Is there a sadness involved with you in knowing that a lot of these characters that we know of right now in the show are not going to make it? Is there a little sadness for you with your character, or do you have this hope that he somehow escapes unscathed in the TV show?
Well, no, definitely. I hope to be around for a while. I think there's a place for a guy like him, considering, when you see what he goes through this year, I think there's a place in the community for him, for sure. And, he'll have earned everything, that really reflects his character and integrity. He will have earned it. So, and there's more story, hoping to have an opportunity, to become that right hand man, to Rick, So, but there's a lot going on, so I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
So, hopefully Rick and I can continue to develop our relationship. But there's just some major stuff coming down, so it's it's going to really, have you guys taking it back for sure.
Well, that's the beauty of this show. I think that's why everyone loves it, is because you could say that about every week. Like a lot of shows, you have like 3 or 4 episodes in the middle of a season that are just character building or just drawing the story out. Then you have an episode that's got a big twist. But with Walking Dead, every single episode is just intense. There's things going on, and there's important stuff going on. So I think that's a lot of the reason why it has such an appeal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even, I mean, in a major, major, major way this year.
If it were to happen, if you sit there and go, well, you're looking forward to what's going to happen to your character down the road, is there a part of you that's thinking that you hope to be zombified, or do you hope to be just offed and have it end?
I don't like to think about that. I don't want to invite anything in.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I got you. And that's what you brought up a minute ago. Is kind of another. It's a neat thing about this show too, is that if you go back to the very first episode of Walking Dead and you travel through the whole thing, your traditional shows, yeah, it's a shocker when you have a character die, because everybody wants to see those main characters live through things. But in The Walking Dead, you get to know characters, they drop off, and then new ones come in, kind of like your character, and you get to know them too. And so throughout the thing, you do have main characters drop off, but it's not a shock to the system, to the fan base, because there's so many characters in this story.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the the trump cards that they have. That Robert's been doing this for 10 years, so they got so much source material. And people get to fall in love with new characters or despise them.
How did you initially get involved in acting, and what role really convinced you that this is what you want to do with your life?
I was involved in high school. I was involved in an after-school program in high school, and we were working on the Raisin and Sun, and just had an out-of-body experience. And it wasn't even Walter Lee. I wasn't playing Walter Lee. I was playing his character Bobo. It was a very dramatic scene, and I just had an out-of-body experience with it that, I was hooked after that. And I was like, wow, how'd you do that? And from that point on, I was going, and I always was, incredibly comfortable on the stage. I always loved, looking out and seeing the haze of the audience, and the buzz, the excitement. By the time I was sophomore in high school, I knew, this is what I would do for the rest of my life. So it's pretty amazing.
Thanks for joining us on Voices and Views. We've been talking to actor Chad Coleman, who plays Tyrese on the hit AMC show The Walking Dead. You can catch that show on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock.